The reading this week talks about a laborer who pays all of his workers an equal wage, regardless of hours worked that day. What comes to mind first for me when reading this passage is the concept of utopia. For many people, utopias are represented through fantastical stories and worlds, rolling hills with endless flowing pools. But for others, the idea of a utopia is as simple as being able to eat every day, make enough money to live comfortably, and be treated as equals to their neighbors. In the passage, when the landowner chooses to share his wealth equally amongst the workers, regardless of hours worked, he is making the conscious decision to treat them as equals. He feels no one laborer is more deserving than the other. In today's world, society has ingrained in us a hierarchy where some people quite literally are taught that they deserve less because of who they are or what they do. Every day, people are treated as less deserving based solely on factors such as their gender, the color of their skin, the countries they come from, and the religions they practice. All the way from racial injustices to wage gaps, from education access to job opportunities, the culture in which we live reminds us on a daily basis that many are treated as less deserving than others. But what this passage is getting at is that in God's world, we are all deserving of a life where we have enough. That God's utopia is a never-ending pool of love and providence. Regardless of who you are or where you come from, you are equal and deserving in God's eyes. His love is not hierarchical, it is plentiful and widespread. This passage teaches us to break down our preconceived notions of who is and isn't deserving. Because as humans, when you strip us of our labels, of our social standings, and of our materials, we are simply all just human. Human and undeserving of injustice and harm, human and deserving of a life where we all have enough. For many, utopia seems a far-out notion, an unattainable reality or fantasy, but it isn't. Utopia is in front of us and behind us. It's in the space that surrounds us and the air that we breathe. Utopia is God's love and guidance, there for us in our deepest troubles and there for us equally. By sharing His love that is rooted in equality and non-judgment, we continue to bring our world today one step closer to the utopia we want it to be. And no, sharing His love does not have to mean shouting gospel from the rooftops, although that works if that's your thing. Sharing His love is as simple as remembering to be kind, to treat everyone equally and with the love and respect they deserve, and to share our gifts with the world around us. For me, my art is just one way in which I create the utopia around me that I envision. This piece specifically returns to the imagery that I mentioned of God's love as an endless flowing pool, a divine source in which all can come and receive what they need, what they deserve, just as the landowner provided equally and deservingly to all of his laborers.